Picture the worst moment of your life. Now, picture everyone around you having their worst moment at the exact same time, all in one place, all looking to you to fix it. That's where Jack Shephard starts. The very first thing we ever see him do in Lost is wake up alone in the jungle, dazed, hurt, and then run straight toward a burning plane full of screaming strangers. Not away from it, toward it. And that one choice in the first 5 minutes of the show tells you everything about who this man is. Jack is the guy who runs toward the fire. It's going to make him the hero of this island, and it's slowly going to break him. This is the story of Jack in Season 1, the reluctant leader, the doctor who can save everyone but himself, and I'm keeping it completely spoiler-free for anything that comes later. So let's start with what Jack actually is. He's a doctor, a spinal surgeon, which means before the crash he spent his life doing some of the most high-pressure, high-stakes work a person can do, cutting into people's spines, holding their whole future in his hands. He's the kind of person trained to stay calm when everyone else is losing it. And on that beach, on day one, that training just switches on. While the other survivors are frozen in shock, Jack is moving, doing CPR, stopping bleeding, pulling people out of danger. He doesn't stop to think about whether he's in charge. He just does the next thing that needs doing, and then the next, and then the next. And that's the quiet, brilliant way the show makes him the leader. Nobody votes for Jack. Nobody hands him the job. He becomes the leader simply because he's the one who won't stop working. And when people are scared and lost, they naturally gather around the person who seems to know what to do. Before he's even had a chance to catch his breath, 40-odd strangers have decided, without saying it out loud, that Jack is the one who's going to keep them alive. Here's the thing though. Jack doesn't want it. Not really. There's this moment early on where another survivor tells him people need him, that he's their leader now, and you can see Jack flinch at the word. Because being everyone's leader means everyone's survival is his fault if it goes wrong. Every death, every mistake, every person he can't save, that's now his to carry. And Jack is a man who already carries too much. Which brings us to the wound underneath all of it. Because Season 1 slowly shows you why Jack is the way he is, and it all comes back to his father. The show tells you Jack's backstory in flashbacks, cutting away from the island to his old life, and almost every one of them is about his dad. His father, Christian, was also a surgeon, a brilliant one, but he was also hard and cold and drank too much, and never once made Jack feel like he was good enough. Jack grew up chasing a man's approval he was never going to get. And here's the detail that makes the whole show hit differently once you know it. The reason Jack was even on that plane is that he had flown to Australia to bring his father's body home. Christian had died. Jack was carrying his dead father back across the ocean when the plane went down. So think about who this man really is. He's someone who spent his whole life trying and failing to save the one person he most wanted to save, his own father, and now he's stranded on an island where dozens of frightened strangers are all begging to be saved. Jack throws himself into rescuing every single one of them, partly because it's who he is, and partly you get the feeling, because if he can just save enough people, maybe it'll fill the hole left by the one he couldn't. He can fix any wound on that beach. He just can't fix the one inside himself. You even see how tightly he holds himself together in the way he handles fear. There's a scene where Jack tells someone how he deals with being terrified during surgery, how one time a mistake sent a jolt of pure panic through him, and instead of letting it take over, he let the fear in for just 5 seconds, counted it down, and then locked it away so he could keep working. That's Jack in a nutshell. He doesn't get to fall apart. He gives his fear 5 seconds, and then he gets back to saving people. Everyone else on that island gets to be scared. Jack has decided he isn't allowed to be. But here's what makes Season 1 Jack so good to watch. The island keeps testing exactly that. Because a beach full of scared, hungry, grieving strangers doesn't stay a team for very long. People start fighting. Supplies go missing. Water gets stolen. Panic spreads. And Jack, the reluctant leader, hits the moment every leader dreads, the moment the group he's holding together starts to come apart in his hands. And this is where the show gives Jack the line that defines him, and honestly defines the whole series. With the camp turning on itself, with everyone pointing fingers and looking out for themselves, Jack stands up and tells them the truth as he sees it. He tells them that if they can't figure out how to live together, then they're all going to die alone. Live together, die alone. It's such a simple idea, but it lands like a hammer, because it's the exact opposite of everything that got these people here. Every survivor on that beach came from a life where they were, in some way, alone, running, hiding, grieving, failing, keeping secrets, Jack included. And what he's telling them and himself is that the old way of surviving, every man for himself, is going to get them killed here. The only way through this is together. It's the moment the reluctant leader finally, fully accepts the job. He stops being a doctor who happens to be helping and becomes the man these people are going to follow. What makes it more than just a cool speech is that Jack is telling himself the same thing. Because Jack's whole instinct is to carry everything alone, to be the strong one, the one who never breaks, the one who saves and never needs saving. And the island slowly starts to teach him that he can't. That he needs the people around him just as much as they need him. There's a reason another survivor has to physically stitch up his wound early in the season. Jack, the man who fixes everyone, literally cannot reach his own injury. He has to let someone else help him. He hates it, and he needs it. That tension, Jack the fixer versus Jack the man who won't let himself be fixed, is the engine of his entire Season 1 story, and it's why he's more than just the hero. A hero who has it all together is boring. Jack is a hero who is quietly falling apart, holding a whole camp of people up with hands that are shaking. He's brave and stubborn and good, and he's also grieving and guilty and terrified, and he's decided he's only allowed to show you the first half. Watch him closely, and you can see the second half leaking out at the edges the whole time. And there's one more layer that Season 1 sets up beautifully, which I'll only touch on so I don't spoil where it goes. Jack is a man of science. He believes in evidence, in medicine, in things you can measure and prove. But this island doesn't play by those rules. Strange things happen here that no amount of logic can explain, and there's another survivor, a man who believes the island is special, that it has a purpose, that some things are meant to be, who becomes Jack's opposite, the doctor who needs proof versus the believer who needs faith. Their clash starts quietly in Season 1, and it becomes one of the best slow burn conflicts the show ever does. But it starts here with Jack refusing to believe in anything he can't put his hands on, because a man who couldn't save his own father has every reason to stop believing in miracles. So that's Jack in Season 1. A man who runs toward the fire. A leader who never wanted the job and can't put it down. A son still trying to save a father who's already gone by saving everyone else instead. He tells a beach full of broken strangers that they have to live together or they'll die alone, and the reason it means so much, coming from him, is that he spent his whole life dying alone on the inside while smiling and telling everyone else it's going to be okay. That's the guy the entire show is built around, and once you understand what's driving him in Season 1, every choice he makes later hits about 10 times harder. If you love Jack, or if you kind of hate him, because a lot of people do, and that's fair too, tell me in the comments, spoiler free. Next up, I'm breaking down another Season 1 survivor and the secret they're hiding, so if you want that one, subscribing genuinely helps the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the island.